Honorable Marek Wijnroks, Netherlands Ambassador for HIV/AIDS. If I may say, it's good that you had this political crisis so we could meet you. And we are very happy that you will be with us through the meeting. Your Holinesses, Eminences, Excellencies, distinguished representatives of the United Nations and non-governmental organizations, high representatives of ecumenical and interfaith organizations, groups, and movements, colleagues from CoreAid and the Ecumenical Advocacy Alliance, co-workers, international and national staff. We are brothers and sisters who have come from all corners of the world and from many faith traditions to address one of the most important issues affecting the well-being of people on all continents. I greet you on behalf of the steering committee and welcome you to this unique event. First of all, I wish to thank the ambassador for her warm, welcoming words and strong message of support. Your affirmation of the role of religion is so important for us at the beginning of this conference. Your encouragement inspires us to deliver the best religion can offer in addressing one of the great humanitarian causes of our time. Your words reflect the historic impact of the government of the Netherlands in the global efforts to respond to the challenges of HIV and AIDS. Your country is among the few who demonstrate that it is a political priority to alleviate the impact of the epidemic by having an ambassador specifically assigned to HIV and AIDS. This is, in my view, an important signal at a time when other countries and political leaders have put the issue on the back burner. The hosting of this conference by your ministry and your shared financial support again demonstrate the willingness of your country to unite forces, secular and religious, scientific and spiritual. Our shared goal is a generation without HIV in the not too distant future. With the combined efforts of people of goodwill around the world, that day will certainly come. There is today reason for cautious optimism, but not for complacency. Dear Ambassador, I hope you will find at the end of this conference that we have heeded your appeal for us as religious leaders to take our responsibility in fighting stigma, discrimination, and denial. But I also hope that we will be heard and seen as trustworthy instruments and co-workers in attaining the goal of universal access to HIV prevention, treatment, care, and support. As we gather here, we are on the way to the International AIDS Conference in Vienna in July and to the Millennium Development Goals Summit in September and the UNGAS in review in 2011. We are here to address important human and spiritual aspects of the epidemic, and we will be doing so with a sense of humility for the harm that people have suffered in the name of religion, but also with the confidence that faith matters and that faith-based outreach for care and spiritual support can make us proud. It is my hope that this conference will be an exercise in informed and inspired leadership. Religious leadership accepts that the political agenda is secular and that the world impacts our agenda. But we maintain that religion matters for the greater cause of humanity. The old Latin dictum, "Nothing human is foreign to me," has a modern ring. This does not imply that religion should dictate politics, nor politics religion. Rather, it expresses interdependence. Total separation is an illusion both on a personal level as well as in community. If spiritual and secular dimensions of life are intertwined, the relevance of religion for society follows, as well as the relevance of society for religion. We need to accept as religious leaders the reality that health officials, the scientific community, and the many organizations of people living with HIV and AIDS have at times rather strained relationships with many expressions of organized religion. Religious leaders are often not seen as genuine co-workers in the global evidence-supported strategy to halt the spread of the epidemic. A deeply seated suspicion that religion is against us has long permeated key populations. Expressed with stark simplicity, some religious leaders and communities maintain that AIDS equals sex, which equals sin, which equals death. Today, there is a growing recognition that AIDS is an illness, not a sin. HIV is a virus, not a divine curse. Gradually, we realize that if a relevant message of care and hope is to be communicated, religious leaders and teachers must actively and genuinely embrace persons living with HIV and AIDS, and do so without reservation. Teachers of children and young people should be trustworthy, as well as able to discuss all aspects of the epidemic, and especially the various ways in which the virus is transmitted, how it can be prevented, and how harm can be reduced. We cannot evade complex issues related to human sexuality. For religion to be relevant, we must be ready to address controversial issues such as sex work and promiscuity, gender-based violence, rape, abuse, and incest. Homophobia and other expressions of bias and stigma need to be eradicated. Conflicting moral codes should not be an obstacle to genuine communication about the realities of life. Friends, it is a shared wisdom in many faith traditions that we should treat others as we would have them treat us. This golden rule binds us together and binds together different faiths, traditions, and cultures, and calls us to a life in solidarity. Translating this into our context tonight, it urges us to uphold the inherent human dignity and universal human rights of every person, equal rights and mutual respect between men and women, young and old, should not be clouded by cultural traditions. Tolerance is not an enemy of faith, it is its friend. Words and praxis of religion differ. Therefore, religious leaders must listen to each other and thereby create bridges across cherished boundaries. The competence of the enlightened lay people in every faith community should shape our message and mission in dialogue with the wisdom of sacred texts. I believe it is with a sense of dismay about our shared history of ignorance and complacency, and with a sense of need for repentance for the harsh words often spoken, that we have come to this historic event. We are here because we need each other and the others. We need each other to be kept honest when we speak our message about love of God and our neighbor.